Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, last Sunday I did a tri-stick because Choir Boys Outdoors challenged me to demonstrate a little bit of knife skill. And we did several of these notches. Now we're going to take and do another little thing using some of these notches. We're going to make something very practical and very applicable to our bushcraft, and that's make a tent peg. Okay? Now you're going to start with a stick of appropriate diameter. This time we're going to be using our WC Knives Mini is going to be it, and this is a perfect little bee knife for this type of work because that's what this is really designed for. It's designed for doing detailed small carving. Now on the end of it, if we went just pounding on it, it's going to split out, so we're going to crown it off. And we can do that. Let me show you up close a chest trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, I'm just rolling my shoulders, see? My hand is not moving, so I'm not going to cut myself. I'm just going to take the top of the stick and rotate it and crown it off. Not really trying to round it as much as just take off that edge where when I go to pound it in the ground, it's not going to split out. Just like that, see? Now we're going to come down at least a ½ inch or so down, and we're going to do a 7 notch, just like we talked about. And that's just going to bear down and rock back and forth, and then we're going to start pushing up and into it like that, and then come straight down and cut off those leaves. It doesn't have to be all that big, really. It just has to be something that the cordage can lock into. That right there should be sufficient because the cord will come in from there and lock. Now I come down to where I want it to be. In this case, this stick's got a little bit of a curve. I'm going to take it right there, and this is where I'd want to cut this stick off. Now to do this, I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use my Swiss Army knife saw. So let me cut it off, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've cut it off. Now yes, this is too short for a tent stake, but we're doing it for demonstration purposes. How long would I want my tent stake to be? If it's really soft ground, I'd like about 18 inches or so. If it's relatively firm dirt, something that's not expecting a lot of wind, something like 8 to 10 inches is more than enough. The 6 inch could even work in the right conditions. But now I'm going to start back here about a ½ inch from the end, and I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to make a point. What I'm going to do, I'm going to flatten it. Remember how we made the wedge? I'm going to turn it 180 degrees. I'm going to make another flat. See how I've done that? Now I'm going to take these tops and bottoms off. Just do like that and bring it to a rough point like that. Now I'm going to take each one of these sharp edges and I'm going to round it down. Just like this. You don't want too fine a point because it's too easy to bend and break. Remember, this is going to be pounded into the ground. It isn't going to need to be a razor sharp type thing. But just enough like that is more than enough. A little bit of a blunt, but remember it's being pounded in. But by doing it just like this and us going around and taking off all those sharp edges, it's the same as crowning it. Because when I go to pounding on this end, and I want this notch to the bottom, so the cordage will lock into it and it won't roll off. Now I pound it into the ground like that. Since I haven't made a terrible fine point, this isn't going to bend over and snap off and ruin my stake. It'll go into the dirt. And since I've rounded off this end, it's not going to split out when I pound it. So, super simple. We've taken the notches that we learned on the tri-stick. I crowned it off. I did a 7 notch into here to hold the cordage, and I made a point. That's all I have to do. Now, how could I expand this? Well, I can make it much bigger. How about if I made it much bigger, and instead of putting this 7 notch facing that way, I made it facing downhill, so I could take a piece of cordage and hook to it and put my hand to it to act as a digging stick. And on this end, the digging end, instead of making it round, what if I made it kind of like a wedge so I could dig in and pull? And I made a digging stick out of it. I just scale up a tent stake. I reverse that notch around the other way, hook the cords to it to make a loop that my hand can hook through, so that when I drive it down, the loop gives me that little extra penetration ability. Going in, and my hand wouldn't slide off of it, don't rub blisters as easy, and I can use it as a digging stick. So the tent stake basic idea is just a simple little thing we can do. Practice making some tent stakes. It should not take you more than a minute and a half or two to make one. The longest time should take you is to do that 7-notch, and really it's not that complicated a notch. It's just something to catch the cordage, that's all. So this cordage hooks into there and doesn't just slide off of it when the wind goes to blowing. See what I'm saying? Real super simple. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And there'll be more little simple skill videos coming in the near future. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.